Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brooke had been through enough upheavals to last several lifetimes, but nothing in her long, difficult existence could have prepared her for the storm rising in Los Angeles that morning. The sun was just cresting over the peak above Beverly Hills, spreading a lovely, golden glow across the Forrester estate, but there was no light inside her heart, only a deep, disturbing dread that she couldn't escape. Her phone buzzed constantly, with messages from Hope, Donna, and Ridge, all inquiring where she was and whether she had heard the news. But what news? What disaster had struck the family with such force? Brooke gazed at the computer, unable to muster enough bravery to open anything. She wasn't prepared. She had an instinctive and unreasonable feeling that whatever it was would cut harder than any scandal, betrayal, or heartache she had ever experienced. So she stood at the kitchen island, holding the edge as if the marble countertop were a lifeline, bracing herself for the hit. She eventually swiped open the most recent message. It was from Ridge. "We need to talk. This is about Thomas. This is serious." Her breath caught. Thomas. Again. After everything, after the treatment, the progress, the mending, the heartbreaks, the reconciliations, what went wrong? Had he spiraled? Had he hurt anyone? Had someone harmed him? But then the phone rang. Hope. Brooke breathed sharply and responded. "Mom," Hope said, breathless and scared. "I need you at the office. Now." "Everything is falling apart. What happened?" Brooke inquired, her voice shaking. "It is not my place to explain. Not over the telephone. Just come. Please." Before Brooke could ask another question, Hope hung up. Brooke stayed transfixed for a few seconds, phone in hand and ears buzzing. Then instinct took over, maternal instinct, protective instinct, survival instinct, and she grabbed her bag and keys, leaving the house without a second thought. When she arrived at Forrester Creations, she realized instantly that something seismic had transpired. Assistants whispered in the corridors. Designers hovered uncomfortably around their workstations. Even the security guards appeared shaken, staring anxiously at each other as if waiting for the next tremor. Brooke moved purposefully amid the commotion, despite the fact that she felt anything but stable within. She discovered Hope pacing in her office, fists pressed to her brow, tears welling in her eyes. "Hope," Brooke whispered quietly as she approached. Hope turned and virtually collapsed in her mother's arms. "It's bad, Mom," she muttered. "It's so bad." "Where is Thomas?" Hope drew back and wiped her eyes. "He is with Taylor and Ridge. They're trying to calm him down, but I don't know if anyone can." Brooke felt a cold shudder down her spine. "Hope, tell me." Hope took a deep breath. "Thomas discovered who his real father is." Brooke blinked, astonished. What do you mean?" "Ridge is his father," Hope said softly, shaking her head. "No. Ridge isn't." The room slanted. Brooke grasped the back of a chair to keep herself stable. "That's impossible." "I thought so too," Hope responded, stumbling on her words. "But it is true. Taylor verified it." Brooke felt her pulse become wild and irregular. "Who?" Hope paused. Brooke's stomach twisted. "Hope," she begged. "Tell me." Hope finally exhaled. "It's Deacon." Brooke staggered back, as if struck. "What?" "Deacon is Thomas's biological father," Hope explained, her voice shaking again. "There was a DNA test. Taylor seemed to have known the facts for years. She and Deacon shared a past. A secret. A solitary night following one of Ridge's breakups with her, before to Thomas's birth. She thought Thomas was Ridge's, but the test she took during her pregnancy proved otherwise." Brooke's head whirled. "This doesn't make sense." "None." "He only found out this morning," Hope explained. "He is devastated. Angry. Confused. He feels betrayed by his mother, Ridge, and everyone." Brooke felt her knees weaken. She gently sank into a chair. "And Deacon?" she asked, her voice scarcely audible. "He didn't know," Hope explained. "Not until Taylor informed him today. He's in shock." The words seemed to hang in the air, heavier than they should have been, sinking into every corner of the room and weighting it down. Deacon. Thomas. Taylor. Brooke's preconceived notions about the convoluted, linked families in their lives were quickly dispelled. 1,000 ramifications raced through her mind, emotional, logistical, and ethical. Thomas's entire identity was based on being Ridge's son. Ridge had poured his life into Thomas. Despite the tumultuous nature of their connection, it was founded on love and what they perceived to be blood. What does Ridge know? Brooke inquired. He knows everything, Hope explained. He is reeling. He left the office 10 minutes ago, and no one knows where he went. Brooke pushed a shaky hand on her chest.
Ridge.
Her Ridge. This information would devastate him. Where's Taylor? Brooke inquired. In the main conference room with Thomas, Hope informed us. But Mom, he's not fine. You should prepare yourself. Brooke stood slowly. I need to see him. Hope stretched out and grabbed her mother's hand.
Take care.
He believes his entire life has been a lie. I agree, Brooke muttered. When Brooke entered the meeting room, the tension hit her like a physical force. Thomas stood near the windows, fists curled, jaw taut, and eyes blazing with rage and despair. Taylor sat nearby, her stance stiff and her countenance distraught. Deacon stayed near the entrance, remorse imprinted on his face. Thomas spun as he saw Brooke. Oh, great, he exclaimed. Just what I needed. Thomas, Brooke murmured gently. I only want to assist. You?
He scoffed.
That's rich. Brooke winced, but stayed calm. I know you're hurting. You have no idea how I feel. Taylor slowly stood. Thomas, please, he exclaimed, pointing at her. You can't please me anymore. You lied to me. Ridge had always been my father figure. You knew he wasn't. You allowed me to build my identity around a falsehood. Thomas, Taylor said through sobs. I made a mistake. A horrible mistake. I thought I was protecting you by hiding the truth. He yelled. By allowing me to worship a man who is not my father? By allowing him to raise me, discipline me?
Please guide me.
All the while knowing that Deacon was the one who actually. He choked on the words, turned aside, and gripped the windowsill so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Brooke moved closer. Thomas, please, let's all take a breath. He gave her a nasty look. Don't pretend you care about me now just because your precious Deacon is suddenly part of my life. That's not fair, she added quietly. None of this is fair. Thomas roared. Deacon took a cautious step forward. Thomas, I swear I didn't know. If I had. Had you? Thomas barked. Would you have raised me? Would you have been there for me? Don't make promises on a life that never existed. You can't rewrite history. Deacon's expression sank. You're correct. I cannot. I just wanted to let you know I'm here now. For whatever you require. Thomas's eyes shone. I don't need anything from you. Brooke felt the room shudder under the weight of the situation. Taylor crumbled, Deacon shrank from remorse, and Thomas fought an internal conflict. She had to do something, anything, to quiet the hurricane in front of her. Thomas, Brooke whispered quietly, no matter what happens, you are loved. He laughed cruelly. Love? This family spreads that word around, as if it solves everything. But it does not. It never has. He stormed past them, slamming the door shut. Taylor dropped onto a chair and sobbed. Deacon seems lost. Brooke remained immobile, her heart beating, as she realized that everything was about to fall apart. Later that afternoon, Ridge reappeared. Brooke discovered him alone in his office, staring blindly at a framed portrait of himself with Thomas, Steffi, and Taylor from years before. His eyes were blurry. His shoulders slumped. Brooke whispered, Ridge, as she entered. He did not glance at her. He did not even blink. Ridge. She tried again, getting closer. Finally, he turned, and the despair in his face nearly broke her. He's not my son, Ridge murmured. I reared him. I protected him. I forgive him. I battled for him. And he was never mine. Brooke approached warily, her heart breaking for him. Ridge, Biology does not erase fatherhood. But it changes everything, Ridge remarked, his voice shaking. I'm not sure who I am without that link. I'm not sure who Thomas is now. I'm not sure how to fix this. You're still his father, Brooke argued. Ridge shook his head. In every way that matters. Taylor lied to me. For decades. She lied about something so essential. How will I ever trust her again? Brooke felt her breath catch. Taylor's deception not only wounded Thomas, but also broke Ridge. You trusted her more than almost anyone, Brooke said. This must feel like the deepest betrayal. It is, Ridge replied simply. Brooke paused before saying again, what about us? Ridge finally met her eyes. His expression softened. I don't blame you, he replied calmly. But Deacon is the father, which complicates things. Brooke agreed. I know. You didn't know, Ridge responded. But the connection between you and Deacon, now there's another layer. I don't want Deacon, Brooke answered with determination. My feelings haven't changed. Ridge scrutinized her, looking for the truth. I believe you, but I need time. Brooke agreed, despite the pain. I understand. Thomas vanished for 2 days. Taylor couldn't reach him. Ridge couldn't find him. Steffi was distraught, and Hope looked everything she could think of. Deacon even tried to call him, but Thomas refused to respond. Brooke stumbled upon him on the 3rd morning. She went to the Cliff home to get something Hope had left there. When she stepped onto the back patio facing the lake, she noticed Thomas sitting alone on the dune, staring at the waves. He appeared hollow, empty, as if something fundamental inside him had been extracted. Brooke hesitated before approaching, unsure whether he wanted company or would lash out again. Thomas. She spoke gently. He didn't turn, and he didn't tell her to leave. She took that as an invitation and carefully sat beside him. They did not speak for a long time. The ocean filled the silence, constant and unwavering, an elemental force that could not be broken. Finally, Thomas mumbled, My whole life has been a lie. No, Brooke responded gently. Your life is real. The individuals that love you are genuine. Your memories are true. But everything that contributed to those memories wasn't, Thomas remarked sadly. I glanced at Ridge and saw my father. I looked at Steffi and saw my complete sister. I looked at myself and recognized someone who belonged. Now, I'm not sure where I fit. I'm not sure who I am. Brooke took a deep breath. You're Thomas Forrester. Thomas scoffed. Am I? Without Ridge's blood. Blood is not what creates a family, Brooke stated. Trust me. I've lived enough lives, made enough errors, and loved enough people to understand that fact better than most. Thomas eventually turned to face her. His eyes were sore and red. I'm angry, he murmured. Angry with Taylor for lying. Ridge made me angry because he was not who I expected him to be. Angry at Deacon for existing. Brooke nodded slowly. All of those feelings are valid. I feel like breaking something, he remarked. Screaming, running, disappearing. Express yourself freely. Nobody expects you to handle this correctly. Thomas stared down at his hands. I don't want Deacon in my life. You don't have to let him in, Brooke told me. Not until you are ready. Or ever. That's your decision. He swallowed hard. But what if he tries? What if he forces it? He won't, Brooke stated firmly. I'll make sure of it, Thomas said, carefully studying her. Why are you so nice to me? Brooke gave a sweet, sorrowful grin. Because I understand what it's like to have your world fall. I know what it's like to feel like you're standing in the ruins of everything you thought was true. Thomas returned his attention to the horizon. Ridge hates me now. He doesn't, Brooke replied firmly. He is harmed. But he doesn't hate you. He never will, Thomas said, his voice trembling. I don't know how to move forward. You don't have to figure that out today, Brooke told me. Only take one step, then another. He looked at her for a moment, and something in his countenance softened, only slightly, but sufficiently. Thank you, he muttered. Brooke nodded. You're welcome. Meanwhile, Taylor was overcome with guilt. She could not sleep, could not eat. I couldn't stop remembering the past. The night with Deacon. The pregnancy.
The test.
She concluded she couldn't tell Ridge the truth because she was afraid, ashamed, and confused. She couldn't risk losing him. She believed she was doing the right thing. Or, at least the least harmful option. She had convinced herself that Ridge was Thomas's real father in every manner that mattered. She was convinced that the truth would destroy everyone. And now it did. Steffi confronted her mother in the living room of the Cliff house one evening, her countenance a mix of grief and rage. "How can you hide something like this?" Steffi demanded. Taylor wiped her tears. "I was scared." "You should have told Dad," Steffi replied. "You should have informed Thomas." Taylor muttered. "I know. You should have told everyone. I've been telling myself for years that the truth doesn't matter because Ridge reared Thomas. Because our family was complete. Because nothing good could come from revisiting the past." "But that wasn't your decision," Steffi retorted furiously. Taylor's face wrinkled. "I understand. And I'm so sorry." Steffi paused, her rage transforming into sadness. "He is my brother, Mom. My entire childhood, I believed we had the same father. That bond was vital to me." "You still have a bond," Taylor said. "That doesn't change." "It changes everything," Steffi responded. "But I'll find a way to accept it." Taylor smiled. "And will you ever forgive me?" Steffi did not respond at first. She finally murmured, "I don't know, but I'll try." When Thomas returned to Forrester Creations, the building seemed to hold its breath. People looked at him with caution, not fear, just concern. Whispers followed him down the halls, but he didn't acknowledge them. He kept his head up and his movements steady, determined to regain a sense of normalcy. He met Ridge at the design office. The encounter was stiff at first, laden with unsaid tension. Ridge turned to face his son, no, the boy he had reared. Thomas glanced at the man who had shaped, protected, pushed, and loved him. "Thomas," Ridge spoke quietly. "Dad," Thomas said automatically. Then he paused. "Ridge." "Thomas," Ridge corrected quietly. "You may call me Dad." "Nothing changes that for me." Thomas swallowed. "I'm not sure what to call you. I'm not sure what anything means anymore." Ridge nodded slowly. Thomas looked down and said, "Neither do I." "I'm sorry." "For what?" Ridge inquired, puzzled. "For not being your son." Ridge came closer and placed a strong hand on Thomas's shoulder. "You're my son. Perhaps not by blood, but in every other way you're mine. And I'm yours." Thomas's voice trembled. "It feels like I'm losing you." "You're not," Ridge said softly. "Not right now. Not ever." Thomas closed his eyes and exhaled shakily. Ridge grabbed him into a brief and fierce embrace. For the first time in days, something in Thomas started to mend. Brooke watched discreetly from the doorway, relief sweeping over her. Ridge was regaining his footing again. Thomas was starting to accept his new reality. The family would not be the same, but they might not fall apart entirely. But suddenly Deacon appeared next to her. "We need to talk," he stated quietly. Brooke frowned.
"About what?"
"This is about Thomas. About us. About Ridge." She moved into the hallway to avoid drawing attention. "Deacon," Brooke responded gently, "now is not the time." "It has to be," Deacon persisted. "Look, this changes everything. Whether you want to admit it or not."
She sighed.
"What are you trying to say?" "I am now a part of Thomas's life. Whether he wants me or not. Whether Ridge wants me or not. Whether you want me or not." Brooke's face tightened. "Thomas needs steadiness." "I'm not trying to pressure him," Deacon remarked. "I just can't stay away. Not now that I know he's my son." "Then you should give him space," Brooke said. "He's not ready." Deacon paused before nodding. "Okay, I'll try." "And Deacon," Brooke continued gently, "don't use this to put yourself between Ridge and me." Deacon blinks. "I wouldn't." Brooke gave him a sharp look. "Okay, maybe I would," Deacon conceded softly. "But I know you are committed to Ridge." "I accept that," Brooke said softly. "Good. Because I am not going to let this ruin my relationship." Deacon exhaled, emotion flashing across his face. Just swear that you'll help me build a bridge to Thomas. Eventually. Brooke nodded. When he's ready. That was enough for now. Over the next week, the Forresters, and by extension the Logans, adapted to their new reality. Thomas had therapy sessions with Taylor and a new mediator. Ridge and Thomas gradually rebuilt trust. Hope encouraged him, albeit warily. Deacon maintained his distance but gave Thomas small, delicate words of support, which he read but did not respond to. And Brooke became the calm anchor. She checked on Ridge every day, offering support without pressuring him. She spoke to Taylor in a neutral, judgment-free tone. She reassured Steffi. She comforted Hope. She even pushed Deacon to be patient. She had no idea how much weight she was carrying until one afternoon, when Ridge appeared at her door, calmer than he had in days. You held everything together, he added softly. Brooke smiled slightly. Someone had to. He moved closer. Thank you. What for? Ridge muttered. For being steady. Thanks for your support. Thank you for supporting Thomas. Brooke felt a warm sensation sweep through her chest. That's what families do. Ridge gently brushed his hand on hers. I'm ready to come home. Brooke's heart skipped a beat. Are you sure? She asked, her voice shaking. He nodded. Yes. She bridged the gap between them, putting her arms around him while he clutched her tightly. Brooke felt something firmer than fear, stronger than turmoil, and anchored in love for the first time since the truth was revealed. Hope. Meanwhile, Thomas met privately with Taylor. She sat across from him, her countenance sorrowful and frail. Thomas, I don't expect forgiveness, she said. But I hope that one day you'll understand why I made the decisions I did. Thomas gave her an even gaze. I understand, Red. I realize that you want to protect your family. But I don't understand lying. Taylor nodded, tears welling in her eyes. I deserve that. You do, he said. But you're still my mother. That has not altered. And I don't want to lose you. Taylor covered her mouth, her body quivering in relief. Thank you, she muttered. I will do better. I promise. Thomas nodded. We will reconstruct. Slowly. She reached out hesitantly. He took her hand. It wasn't true forgiveness. However, it was the start of something healing. Eventually, Thomas met with Deacon. They sat awkwardly opposite from each other at Il Giardino, which was empty between lunch and evening. Deacon cleared his throat. Thomas offered a curt nod and said, Thanks for meeting me. Do not thank me. I am here because I don't want any more secrets or falsehoods. Neither do I, Deacon replied. There was a prolonged hush. I'm not looking for a dad, Thomas stated bluntly. I'm not trying to replace Ridge, Deacon explained. I never could. Thomas stared down at the table. So, what do you want? Deacon exhaled. There's a chance. Not to be your father, but to be something. Someone you can speak to. Someone you might not dislike. Thomas thought about it carefully. I don't know what I can offer, he remarked. Whatever you're comfortable with, Deacon said. 1 coffee every month. An occasional phone call. A text message. Or nothing at all. Thomas paused. Deacon smiled softly as he suggested having a discussion now and again. I can live with that. For the first time since the revelation, Thomas felt a sliver of acceptance, not of the circumstance, but of the chance that it would not wreck him. Days have passed. The shock eased. The wounds remained, but they stopped bleeding. And slowly, painfully, the divided families began to piece their lives back together. Brooke stood on the Forrester Mansion's patio one evening, watching the sunset and feeling the warm breeze brush against her skin. Ridge joined her and wrapped his arm around her waist. How are you? She asked gently. Tired, Ridge confessed. But better. She leaned into him. I'm proud of you. He kissed her temples. I couldn't have survived this without you. You would have, Brooke replied. You're strong. Ridge shook his head. Not without you. She smiled warmly. Behind them, inside the house, Thomas laughed at something Steffi said. It wasn't a carefree laugh. It was filled with sadness, tiredness, and lingering uncertainty, but it was still laughing. Brooke closed her eyes and let the sound wash over her, breathing for the first time in weeks. Her world had fallen. Everyone's world has fallen. But they were still standing through love, pain, and messy resilience. And it was enough.